Welcome to Trading Lounge and the S&P 500 for the 17th of July, and today we're going to be looking at bearish moves and bullish moves, and the current wave structure that we have here, as you know, is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 1, and then an A wave, an A and a B and a C wave here for wave B, and then moving down for a C wave. So we're bullish in the market overall. We're just kind of thinking, are we going to get caught in a trap here with the market pulling down here further? Now, we know that this is looking quite strong and bullish here, and that really may be the case. So we need to be looking at long positions, which we will do today. But at the same time, we know that some of the bigger stocks, the Googles and Amazons and so on, have topped out a bit, and obviously that's reflected in the NASI, and the NASI's basically pulled down over the last week, and if those big stocks are holding the S&P 500 up and they're dropping, well, it's possible that they can drop too in that regard. So let's just go in and have a look at the at this B wave situation here first. We'll just go to the intraday on that. So what we've been looking at here, as you may know, is the wave A coming down through here, and then the A, the B, and then 5 waves up for the C. Now, I've had a little bit of problems in here, but as you may know, that we're looking at this here as a B wave and then 5 waves down here for a C wave here. Now, I know that just looking at this, we could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here, but when we look at the cash market, it's very clear that that's 5 waves down through there, and very clear that that's 3 waves up from that particular point. So this also appears to look like 5 waves up through here as well, but it only counts as 3 wave on the cash market, so we need to look at the cash market for that. So I was basically expecting, while the 3,200 stays there as support, then I was looking for a move up anywhere from 3250 to 3280 area in that space. So let's just go and investigate this a little bit further in here. I'll just go to the 15-minute chart in here. So with the 15-minute chart here, I'll just bring it all back in a little bit. So we've got wave A here, then an A and a B, and 5 waves up here for the C wave of B, and then 5 waves down here. Now, I know that doesn't look like 5 waves, but if we look at that on the cash market here, this is it here. So the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here. Now, you can see that this is a pretty direct straight line through here. So I pulled it apart, it's 5 waves. So this over here, we can count 5 waves up to this point, and then an ABC here for this. So we could look at it as wave 1, but I only get 3 waves up into this space here. So we've got another wave 1 here and 2 here, and then we've got all the 3rd wave up here, the 4th and the 5th for this one. So an A and a B and a C here, and then 5 waves down here. And the funny thing is that this particular move here, this move here is really the same as this move here. So this move, we've got 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, an ABC here, so that's the same as this here, as an ABC here, so 1, and so same here, and then we've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 here, and then we're looking for an A, B, C here for the B, and down for the C wave here. Well, the C wave here, maybe there's a 1 and 2 in here, and a 3 here, and a 4 here, and a 5 here, sitting on the 3200 here. Now, we look for this as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and the ABC for wave 4 to here. So we expect that to pull back to the 38.2% retracement, which is basically 40% roughly. I mean, well, close to 40%, I mean. But this sitting on here brings it down, I think it's closer to 50% here for this. So, as a wave 4, we do not really want to see that number here, the 3200, become the retested resistance. It's okay to spike down, but it's got to push back up. See how it spiked down here and push back up? So if we want it to be bearish, we need it to lock under that under that 3200 in a classic trading levels pattern. So anyway, in a nutshell, I think that this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4, and then we got 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and then looking up for wave 5 here. That's the way I see it based on the cash market. Normally we see Thursday being a bit bearish and Friday being bullish. So I'm thinking that we can move up from here. So the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave 4, and then 1 here and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here. And if you've got a keen eye, we've got a long wave 1 and 2, third wave a bit smaller, but then the fifth wave is smaller still for the third, typical fourth wave sideways, and wave 5 for 3 here, the A, the B, and the C wave. And like I mentioned, this wave 4 here, I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't really resolved all this in here. But as long as this stays the support here, then I'm okay. If it becomes the resistance, and as I mentioned, the market needs to come through, needs to go back, and then it needs to take out the previous low here for that number to be rejected. I must also point out too that, let's just say for a moment that I've got this wrong and we do have 5 waves in here. Well, then the 50-60% retracement level would be here. So the 61.8% is sitting right on the 3172. So if the 3172 became the retested resistance here, then we'd have a second degree or deeper bearish scenario at that point, because if I've made a mistake, it could come down to here and then move up again from that point. But if that became the resistance, the 72 here, all part of group 2. Group 2 is 65, 72, and 80. If 72 became the retested resistance here, then we would be in more of a bearish mode at that point and would be on our way down at that point, okay? So if you're going to trade short in here, well, then you would have a smaller position because you would be still exposed to the bullish trend at that point. So under here would be a different story. You start building in trades here and use the levels to build in on. So while we're here, just on the long side here, I think I mentioned somewhere that we could go long at 32.20 as a tested support. Well, now that we've got that little high in here, we don't have to worry about support. If that is breached here, if that moves up and breached that, then you can go long from that point. So we're looking for 5 waves to the upside here. Once we've got those 5 waves in, then we're looking for the market to move down at that point, right? So what we're also going to do after these 5 waves here that move up here, we'll put, and the market pulls back, we're going to put a long trade here on the top here to be triggered if the market continues to the upside, because we don't want to stick our head in the sand. We're in a bullish market overall. We know that. We're just looking for the pullback. Anyway, once those 5 waves are finished, you can trade this trade here up into this space here. You may be able to get to, I'd probably take part profit at the 50, and then if that becomes if you can work out the classic trading levels pattern at the midpoint, the 50 here, then you can get back in, trade up to group 2, and as a friend mentioned, Oleg mentioned that there's 458 option sellers at this particular number here, the 3272. So there will be resistance in this space. So we're looking for 5 waves up. We're looking for resistance here. There. So there's a bullish trade here for Friday, and then we need to just chill and wait over here for this to fall into play here. Can there be on the bullish side, as I've mentioned before, that the bullish count, there's a couple of ways to look at it, but my main point here is that we do have 5 waves down here. So in somewhere I need to get another 5 waves coming down on the side, and I know that it doesn't look like much here, but this high here is the high on the cash market. On the futures market, that's the high. On the cash market, this one here is the high. So it's possible we could count this down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. That would make sense to me. So we can have 5 waves here, corrective wave here with that as the high on the cash, and then another 5 waves down here to make wave C. So that can be wave 4 here. So there's different ways that you could look at all of this here. I understand that, and people have got different counts, and they could all be correct as well. So it doesn't really matter at this stage, but we can look at it a little bit later. But even if I was counting up, I could look at it as wave 1 to here and ABC for wave 2 here. But I don't like that because we don't normally get expanded flats in wave 2. I have seen them in 4X, so it's not out of the race, but it would be more likely that we would have wave 2 sitting here, or all of this here as 3 ABC for 4 here and 5 up here for 1, and then back for 2 here, and then moving off from that point. Either way, this top here, when that comes in, will be on the on the long side at that point, because we would have confirmation at that point. So even though I'm just taking everything on board, as traders, we're looking for safe trades, right? And we try to use Elliott to help us with the direction with this. So we know that the NASI is being sold off. Well, stocks in that section are being sold off. And let's just go to the tick chart. And I just want to have a look at this top in here for this. I mean, it's in my world, in terms of the trading levels, it's typical to have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then psychologically this to be pulled back to this large number here. So I'm still a little bit unsure about this count. I mean, I've just lined this up with Google and Amazon and so on. But yeah, it's typical that this could be pulled down. 1 is the strongest number in the market. So we've got the 10,000 here, and we've also topped out at 2 ones here at 11,000. So it's in a nice place to pull back and test this. You know, this correction to me is just a little bit too small to have at a number like this here. So, and what I normally find too is that the distance that can go up here will be the distance that can come down here as well. So we'll just see. But I want to go to the tick chart where the details are, where the devil sits, so to speak. So let me just get a bit more data in here first. So from the top here, we've been through this a couple of videos ago, that we can count 5 waves down through here. I've taken all the little counts out, but just left the shell there. So what I was looking for here is that we had 5 waves down here. So in one way I was looking for another 5 waves down. So I have changed this around a little bit. So what I can see here, I'll just go over it for the keen eye. We've got 5 waves here, and then a pullback, and then another 5 waves here. So it's possible to count this here. I've got this in 2 A waves here, but I have an A wave here, a B wave here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 across here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here for wave C, of which degree here, it doesn't matter, but it's pulled up to the 61.8%. So really the green ones here would be okay with that, you know. What sort of concerns me at the moment, though, is that let me just get this into perspective here. So in this case, coming down through here, we've also got 5 waves here. We've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 here, back for 2 here, and then the third wave coming down to here, we've got 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the fifth of the third, an A and a B and a C for the fourth, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for, well, we could call it a wave 1 here. It does appear that we've got 5 waves up here to the 61.8%, and I'm happy to call that 5 waves. So I could move that here, and then I could move that here. Now, if I count this as 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third, fourth, and fifth. So if we count this as wave 1 here, then wave 2, the 61.8%, is much higher here. So it's burst through that. But we can look at this here as wave 2 here, as long as that low doesn't get breached here. So just coming back here a little second, it would be possible, in fact, if I could just move these here a bit. bit of housework on the hop, because we know that there's 5 waves down there. So we could call this wave A here. We could call this wave B here to the 61.8%, and then we've got 5 waves down here. So we can call this wave C here. So in a nutshell, for it to be bullish here for a moment, we'll look at the bearish side. But the bullish side is that we have 5 waves down here. We have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave B that's pulled back up into our box, 50 and 62%. And then we have 5 waves down here. It hasn't made a new low here, but it's clearly in my tiny little mind is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back here for 61.8%, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on here for 5 waves down here. So we could call that wave C here. We can call that wave 1 here, and we can call that wave 2. It can only be wave 2 while it stays above this low here. It can come down to 1 point. It can't be breached. If it's breached, then we've got a bearish picture happening here. Okay, so as it stands at the moment, we could look at this as an ABC pattern down here, and that means we can go long above wave 1 here. So you can go long. Well, another way to look at it, we are at 10,500. So 5 here is like the midpoint. And then we've got 65, 72, and 80 here. This is all of group 2 here. So what's been happening here so far, the market's come up into group 2, found 72 as resistance, dropped down to 50, and now has got 65 as the resistance. So we've had that as the resistance, that one and that one here. So it's been pegged under group 2 here. So there's no way you could turn bullish unless you had support on 65. And then you could look to add on top of 72 here, and then you can look to add on top of 80, and then we'd be making a new high coming up into this space here. So that would be our A wave, our B wave, and our C wave here. So that's the bullish count for that, okay? So the bearish count for that, all that simply needs to happen is we need a new low below the 10,500. Is that possible? Yes, because we could also look at this down here as wave 1, ABC back for wave 2, and then we could look at these 5 waves down here as wave 1 coming in here, and then a wave 2 coming back into this space for the 61.8% here. But the problem with that count is that I believe that I've got 5 waves here for this. So it's a bit difficult to call this a wave 2 in here. Possible, I'll just blank it out here. But there you go. So it makes it quite clear in a way. So we've got 5 waves, 3 waves, and 5 waves down to here. We can also just blank this one out here as an alternative situation. So just to be clear here, if this 10,500, if this low here, this 5 wave structure down here, if this low is breached here, then you know that we've got a bearish picture at that point. And then also too on the S&P here, if the 32 here becomes the retested resistance, then we also got a bearish picture at that point there as well. So just keep those in mind, but otherwise we can look to be long on the S&P here. If this wave 4 stays in place here, we can be long above this one here. So yeah, let's see what Friday delivers. Friday is normally the bullish day, but let's see. They're our setup. So long here, and we can go short here, but would only put in a small position to start here for this. So I'm just giving it a sort of a half green size here, and then we can also look to add to the position once the 61.8% becomes the retested resistance. So that's it in a nutshell. We've looked at both sides. We looked at where to go long for the bullish side, so that's cool. We've looked at we know the Nasdaq's holding things up on the bullish side, so we know that at 10,500 here, if that is breached, then we've got a bearish picture, but as long as that low stays in place, then we could also view this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. It's also possible too that, I don't know. I mean, it can be completed here, but and I'll check again. We'll see what happens, and I'll check it again at that particular point in time. But that's it in a nutshell. So that's about the best I can do to cover most bases at this stage. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.